this morning, I would like to rehabilitate the Ten Commandments. I would say that the Ten Commandments have been largely forgotten by most people. It's like we took the Ten Commandments and we put them on the shelf in the closet and we sort of forgot about them. The Ten Commandments have fallen into neglect, and no one except maybe some very conservative Christians have them embroidered in needlework on their kitchen wall. No one has them popping up as a screensaver on their computer that I know about. We've just sort of forgotten about the Ten Commandments. They're like old TV shows that you've forgotten, but you can go back on the programs and find them if you want them. So the Ten Commandments. First, let's see if we can remember them. Now, there are 10 commandments. There are 4 concerning God, and there are 6 concerning people. So help me out now. Let's remember, what are the 4 commandments concerning God? Anybody?
Don't take his name in vain.
What?
Don't take
the name of the Lord in vain, right?
Love the Lord your God.
Love the Lord your God. Mm-hmm. What is it?
I can't remember the wording, but it's like you cannot treat yourself as God.
No idols.
No idols.
Yeah, right, no idols. No name in
Don't
vain, no
take
idols.
the name in vain. Yes.
Mm-hmm. No name in
I
vain.
said that one.
Yeah. Any more? No other gods.
No other gods.
No idols, no other gods, no name in vain. Keep the Sabbath. Okay, so those are the 4 concerning God. Now, what are the 6 concerning human beings?
Honor thy mother and father.
Honor thy mother and father, right?
Thou shalt not covet.
No coveting.
Thou shalt not kill.
No kill, no murder.
No adultery.
No adultery.
No stealing.
No theft.
No theft.
No lying.
No lying. No, thou shalt not bear false witness. That's right. So, we got 4 concerning God. Thou shalt not have other gods before me. Thou shalt have no idols. Thou shalt not take my name in vain, and keep the Sabbath. There's 6 concerning human beings. Thou shalt honor thy father and mother. Thou shalt do no murder, no adultery, no theft, no false witness, and no coveting. Yeah, good. At least we remember them. Well, the 10 Commandments aren't in fashion anymore, and I wonder why that is. I mean, I think there are probably a number of reasons. I mean, for one thing, the 10 Commandments are so negative. I mean, 8 out of 10 of them are based in the negative. You know, it's all no this, no that, no the other. Who wants to hear no all the time? I mean, wouldn't it be better to teach our children positive precepts instead of negative? But no, here we have these no's. And for another thing, the 10 Commandments seem so middle schoolish. I mean, they sound like something you have to teach middle schoolers, not adults. You know, it's 8th graders that need to be reminded that not to bully and not to lie and not to cheat. But adults, I mean, aren't we sort of beyond that? Another reason the commandments are out of favor is because they're so patriarchal. I mean, God, the Father God, comes down in a cloud onto Mount Sinai, and Father Moses goes up the mountain to meet God in the cloud, and God gives Moses the commandments, and he comes down and gives them to the people. I mean, it is so male. It's so authoritarian. It's so heavy. I mean, who wants that these days? I think if a woman had gone up to Mount Sinai, she might come down with 10 ways to work together instead of 10 commandments. We're just not into being commanded these days. No one wants to be ordered around. We chafe at the idea of commandments. And besides, the Ten Commandments are so dull and heavy and flat. It's like being hit upside the head with a 2x4. And what about interpretation? And what about nuance? I mean, what is murder? If I kill someone who's trying to come in my house to kill my family, is that murder? Or is that self-defense? If I kill someone as a soldier in war, is that murder? Or is that defending my country? And who decides how the commandments are to be used? I mean, is it usually the rich and powerful, the elites who ended up deciding which commandments we pay attention to? And haven't the commandments been used to justify sexism and racism in the past? And what about other cultures? I mean, the Ten Commandments may apply to Western cultures, but what about other cultures who may see things differently? So there are all kinds of reasons that the Ten Commandments are not in favor today, that we sort of put them on the shelf in the closet. Some people say that the Ten Commandments began to lose their effect back in the 1960s when we started to become a therapeutic culture. In the therapeutic culture, what really matters is me and my personal development and what I'm feeling. And what's important now is, our personal development and not these external rules that are pushed on us from outside. And we think that, people are basically good. They don't need to have all these rules pushed on them. So we seem to have left the Ten Commandments behind for lots of reasons. The trouble is that we seem to be in a society that's losing its moral foundation. We're more fragmented, we're more individualistic, we're more materialistic than we used to be a few generations ago. The writer David Brooks says that people need to be taught how to be moral. We need to be taught how to treat others with kindness and consideration. And so in a healthy society, there's this web of institutions that helps teach us. That helps teach us moral values. How to help people learn respect and consideration. Things like, the family, the marriage, schools, churches and religious institutions, civic organizations, service organizations. That's all part of the web of learning our responsibility to the greater good. My dad worked for the Boy Scouts of America. He was a field executive. He helped organize scout troops and raise money. And he told me many times that he felt like his job was important, that it had meaning for him because he felt like it helped boys become good citizens. So he was doing something that meant something to him. But today our institutions don't have the respect and the credibility that they used to have. We're not teaching moral virtue anymore. Ask lots of younger people what their goals are, and they say, I want to make a lot of money. That's the main thing we focused on, that we've given to them. So maybe, just maybe, we still need the Ten Commandments. Maybe we still need the guidance they offer. One of the traditional rationalizations for the Ten Commandments is that they create a healthy society. They give 10 succinct rules for living with healthy boundaries. You could say the commandments are boundaries. And every person and every family needs healthy boundaries in order to thrive. We need to be able to say to others, this is acceptable, This is not acceptable. This is okay. This is not okay. That's what the Ten Commandments do for society. They create healthy boundaries. And many people have noticed that almost every society has something like the Ten Commandments. They may not be phrased the same, but it's the same basic values that are meant to create a healthy society. Jesus said that you can sum up the Ten Commandments with the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And that's pretty universal throughout all cultures. And of course, a good thing about the Ten Commandments is that they're easy to remember. You've got 10 fingers and there's 10 commandments. So if we just try a little bit, we can remember all 10 commandments. Just think about the moment when God gave the Ten Commandments to Moses. The people of Israel had just come out of Egypt, and Egypt was a land of slavery. It was a very stratified society. There were a few very privileged, very rich people, and masses of people who were dirt poor. There were masters and there were slaves. And when God brought the people of Israel through the Red Sea, out of Egypt, into freedom in the wilderness, God said, I want you to be a different kind of society than was back there in Egypt. I want you to be a society of equality and fairness and respect. And that is why God gave the Ten Commandments. In this new society, there's not going to be any slaves or any masters. There's not going to be any murder or theft of property. There will be one righteous and compassionate God. So God gave the Ten Commandments to give the people of Israel a new start, a new way of living. And God was calling the people of Israel to live under command. Think about what that means, to live under command. Anyone who has ever served in the military knows what it means to live under command. There's always someone above you that's in command of you, and you're usually in command of someone else. So you're in this very clear chain of command that creates a structure that everyone knows and everyone can live by. And when everyone does their part, the unit is successful, the unit is effective. And then that external structure is also mirrored in the internal structure of each soldier. You learn how to discipline yourself so that you can work for the good of the whole, and so you can become a more disciplined and more successful person yourself. Many a young man and a young woman has grown up and become an adult when they went through basic training. It's that structure that they're given. And living under command also brings a kind of humility. You know, if I'm under the command of my superior, then I'm more liable to understand what it means to the people underneath me who are under my command. I can relate to them better. So there's no place for arrogance when you're living under command. Walter Brueggemann, the great theologian, says that a true self is a self under command. Under the command of those in charge, but also in command of themselves. Well, the Ten Commandments don't call us to become some kind of robots who just follow rules without thinking. The Ten Commandments aren't meant to be legalistic. They're meant to be living rules. They're meant to call us to live under command, both internally and externally, to know our boundaries and to act accordingly. So I think we need to go into the closet and take the Ten Commandments back off the shelf and put them in effect for today.